Hey guys, this is Abe Foy here from freelearner.how. So I want to give you a video on how do you install and load the bit streams for the KU115 or the KU1500 from TUL. So we have the algorithm as you saw, but I want to make a video on like how do you actually get it going. So obviously the first step that you're going to do is power down your machine. And then you're going to need to install an instance of Ubuntu 16.04. Now I know that there's later versions of this Linux distribution, but the Viviado program that actually runs the Xilinx software doesn't run on anything supported on anything other than 16.04. So it might actually work, but it is supported on it. So if you run into an issue, at least you know that it should be working for this one. That said, I would highly suggest using 16.04 because the Xilinx software is a little quirky, and you don't want to be in a support hole. So just install it. I want to say it was under 8 gigs, and then you can install it to a thumb drive and then install it. If you run Windows, they'll actually do an automatic install of the boot. Just make sure that you allocate about 100 gigs of the partition towards this instance. Virtual machines could work. I tried to do a virtual machine from Windows 10 into this, and unfortunately the PCI host bus adapter just wasn't able to install, and so I wasn't able to get that to come through. When I brought it into Linux, no big deal. So if you want to try it out, you actually can do a live CD of the installation first, and then once you're done, you can just install it and everything's good. If you do install on the same drive, just make sure you do have 100 gigs because the Viviado software is actually 50 gigabytes just by itself. And then you have updates that are going to come through, and those are about 3 to 4 gigabytes each. So you want to make sure that you have some space. The files themselves for the bitstream and the mining applications and all that isn't actually a lot, so that should be fine. Now 100 gigs these days isn't that big of a deal, so you probably should be able to allocate that on your 4 gigabyte hard drive that's probably in there already, so I wouldn't sweat it. I actually am using a machine that is, it's fairly old, and it had a 500 gigabyte drive just sitting in it, so that's what I'm using. Okay, so you install Ubuntu, and then you're going to run all the updates, and then I would install some of the other packages. I actually installed Discord on there just because it's good to be able to contact with the other people who are working with the 1525 and the other guys just to see what they're up to. And then from there, you're going to reboot the machine several times to get all your updates. Then after that, what I want you to do is to put in your KU1500, KU115 TUL card into the PCI slot. So this will work on any of the slots, but of course the Gen 3 X16 is going to give you the best performance for this card. So at least for your first one, make sure that you plug it into there. Then you're going to boot the machine up. It's going to come into your install here, and now what you're going to need to do is install the drivers for Xilinx. So Linux is actually super amazing, unlike Windows. In this particular case, is that it will just recognize the card. It's going to find it, and it's not even going to be a big deal. It might even work right out of the box. But I would suggest that you actually install the Xilinx software and use their drivers because it's going to make sure that you alleviate any of the errors from the automatically generated ones. So next you're going to go to Xilinx.com. You're going to go to their download section. And you actually have to create an account with them because they're super critical about anything that comes from their site. They want to download, they want you to log in to even download updates. So there's tons of various different versions that you can get here, and there's a comparison list that you can look at on what to get. Now, if you actually buy the 1500 or the KU115 from Richard at TUL, you'll get a 1-year subscription to the Viviado HLX suite, which is pretty awesome. That software is insanely expensive. When I had it at work, it was thousands and thousands of dollars. So you'll get that for 1 year, and that's included with the card. So that's pretty cool. Make sure that you keep a hold of the serial number on that, and it does lock to the node of the computer. It is not a site license. So it will lock to your hard drive or whatever peripheral that you have on your computer. So you can unlock it, but you can only do it 5 times until it doesn't work anymore. So just make sure that you're really careful about when you start that. Now, if you're just doing this from the get-go and you don't want to use your license yet because maybe you're not going to be creating your own bit streams yet, then you can just download the lab solution. That's what a lot of guys do. So this is a 30-day, and you can also get this one is free. So you can get your Windows or Linux. For us, we would of course get Linux. So we're gonna, and the reason we're doing Linux is because our CC miner application works in Linux, and we don't have a build for it yet for Windows, but we're working on it. So you'll download this guy, and then you're going to have to sign in, and then you'll download it, and it's going to take forever to download the first install. It doesn't take very long. And then from here, you're going to install your zip file. You'll notice I have the Windows version here, so you'll that's the SDK. You're going to download the Xilinx software here, and then you're going to install that. And there's actually an instruction that comes with it on how to install it for both of them. So now it's going to take a long time. So it's going to download 50 gigabytes down to your computer. Depending on your internet connection, that could take hours to, probably at least an hour, I would guess. Some of you probably have awesome connections. And then it's going to give you it's right in the install. It says there may be some drivers that aren't installed with that, and it does install quite a bit of them. But we do actually have to install the driver for it, just to kind of like full circle this. So you install it, reboot the machine. It's actually going to come up and it's going to say, hey, I have another update. You can run the update if you want right away, or you can postpone that. Then what I'm going to do is I'll include this file, the KU115 1500 manual. And so this actually tells you all about what your board is, which is great. It's going to, I'll show you here. So it'll show you everything of what the components on your board is and where your pinouts are. It gives you the schematic of the entire chipset, tells you what your dip switches do on the back of the board, and all kinds of good stuff that you're going to need. Well, to install the bit stream, you won't need it, but it's good to have anyways. But what we do need to do, we're going to install the card, and then we're going to go over here. And so this is to create a directory, to create your board's BSP, your board specific program files. And so you're going to create this. The OPT folder is where Xilinx actually installs. So you are just installing to the root directory of that Xilinx folder. So you'll install into there. You'll go through the board prep, and then right here is what we want you to do. So you're going to go into the drivers. I'll show you where mine are. So you're going to go here, Xilinx, Viviado, into the directory, and then you're going to go into data. I'm doing this by memory, probably a bad idea. I think we go into boards. Nope. See, this is what I get for trying to do it right off my head. Let's see, maybe into bin. Oh, on the bin. Well, okay. Well, we'll take a look here. It's been a little bit since I actually installed the board files here. Let's see. Let's see, it's in data. I'm looking for there's a folder called drivers. Oh yeah, it's in Zycom. Yeah, so it's in Zycom, and then we're going to go into cable drivers, the install script, and then you're going to run the install script. And so what this will allow you to do is it's going to allow you to use the JTAG USB UART connection that is on the board, which just means that you'll be able to load from the computer to the board without actually having to go through the PCI connection, which is a little bit tougher. So you'll just run this script. So you'll go here, open the terminal, and then you'll do sudo dot install drivers, and then it's going to go through. Now, and usually it will install, but it just says you've already done this, so you don't have to do it, right? So it will go through, it will install the drivers. Now you do need to make sure that if your cable was unplugged, you unplug it and then replug it back in, and then it will release the resource, and then it will bring the resource back when you do this. Okay, so that's it. Now you can actually go through and you can actually create a new VSP, but the board comes preloaded with its own VSP, or I'm sorry, its own MSC file in the non-volatile flash memory, so it's going to boot up all the time. You can put your own in there if you want, but it's not necessary. I would just leave it alone. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is, now that we're actually here, we're going to go back to our root, right? And so where I want you to go is we're going to go to the installation folder, and then we're going to go to Xilinx, then Viviado 2018.2. We're going to go to the bin folder where your executables are, and then what I want you to do is run Viviado. It's going to take a minute. This only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm sure your super hot rod is going to go a lot faster and be better and more awesome, but this one is old and it does the job. So I do have to tell you, there is a little bit of a quirkiness, and I don't know if it's just my board or it seems to happen on a lot of different boards, but sometimes it gets stuck in a loop. So it will try to refresh the hardware, and it'll just sit there and sit there and sit there, and you could let it sit for hours, and it's never going to refresh. So if it does run into that, I have a workaround for that, and I'll show you the workaround anyways. But hopefully it won't, and it will do it the easy way. So we'll see what it does. It takes a minute to load this up. Okay. All right. So if you were actually going to create a bitstream and do something, you can actually create a new project and build your own algorithm. Or if you have a configuration folder, you can actually open the project and do that. So if you want, there's a lot of open source Bitcoin miners out on the net, so you can snag those and grab those cores and do a partial reconfiguration, get your board going, give you a little experience. I'm looking actually to do a little video on that coming up as time permits. So I guess stay tuned for that. So we're going to just open the hardware manager and make sure that your USB cable is plugged into your board right now. So at this point, the PCI card should be plugged in to your card, or plugged into the motherboard. The computer's on, obviously. And then the USB cable is going to go from the back of your FPGA into one of your USB ports, but not a USB 3 port. It has to be a USB 2 port. So we'll do auto connect. We'll see if it's going to be nice to me or if it's going to be mean. So it's connecting, and so it's going to, we see refreshing hardware devices. Looks like we got, yeah, it's going to be mean. Okay, so in this MCS file, they actually have 4 of these MIG configuration files, which is for each one of your blocks of RAM. And so it's actually just checking them out. Now, the other 2 slots are fine. It's just, you can actually run this, right? Like, you can continue to exit and close it, and after the 3rd time, it'll probably work. But I'll show you a little workaround that is pretty much guaranteed. So if you click cancel, it's going to sit there and cancel. And again, it's not going to cancel because it's stuck in a loop. And it will probably eventually time out, but I'm super impatient. So you can actually just go over here. You can go to exit, abort the program, and then we're going to just open this back up. Okay, and so I actually am going to include this in there also, which is going to give you the information. So this, actually here, that is one, and I'm going to take that out. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you how we're gonna work this. I missed a part of the configuration file, so I'm building it as we go here. Okay. I should have done this originally. Maybe it will actually work for us, but I kind of doubt it. So what we want here is it's connecting. And we want that right there. Yeah, see, now it only did one of the files there. So we're gonna, what we're gonna hung up on actually, it's not that file. It is connect. Let's see. Okay. All right. So we're gonna, yeah, I'm gonna have to exit out of this. Okay. Now you can also check to just see if it is running anymore down here, and it looks like if it doesn't say Viviado in the system monitor, then you're good. That's the equivalent of like the task manager. And we wait. Alright, so I'm going to come in here. Let's see what I got. Connector, URL. There we go. Host 3021. Alright. Oh, okay. So, yeah, we'll kind of describe this in a second here. So I'm going to first just connect to it locally. So it says, okay, connecting to your, and it says closed, and that's because we haven't connected to it, and we also haven't defined it. So right here, this 2103709, you're actually going to have to put that right here. So you notice that my number 2103008A blah 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 is equal to these two numbers. So whatever yours connects to, that's what you're going to have to put there. Okay. So I'm going to use this command. Okay, and now we set which device we're connecting to, and we're going to connect at the fastest connection for the USB. And then finally, I'm just going to open the target without the refresh. So the issue is our MCS file is just, I actually think that I just need to reflash the MCS file and then it's going to work. But I haven't done it. Okay, so from here, we get to program it. So we're going to go to program, go here, and then we're going to go to our home folder, and then you'll go to your downloads, go into your bit streams, and so this is 1 core, and then this is 10 cores at 250 megahertz for the clock speed. And go and just program it. Just cruise away. Okay, all right. So now at this point, we can actually check out the temperature of the board if you want. There we go. So it's at 50 degrees. I don't have the fan on right now. That's just the board doing its thing. So at this point, we need to restart the board, restart the computer, and then we can load the bit stream and do the rest of the mining. So I'm going to turn off for a second, and then we'll see you back. All right. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do, the first thing right off is we're going to load up Viviado and open the hardware manager. And the reason why we're doing this is so that we can check out what the cores are and get it going. I'm sorry, we're going to use that so we can check out what the temperature is while we're doing our mining. Now I have the cores set to 10 right now, so I'm going to show you, even though we have 10 cores programmed onto the board, how do we actually just use 1 core, 2 cores, 3, all the way up to 10. And as we continue to do this, I'm going to have to turn on my box fan because the case is open on my computer, but the case has like no airflow in it, so I'm sure you guys have better cases. Again, I was just trying to get something together for you so that you can so that you guys can use it. But I'm sure your hardware is actually going to outperform mine, which is kind of funny. But you know, that's how it works sometimes. So that issue that we had in the previous section where it didn't connect because the MCS file was trying to load and was trying to refresh that. Well, that's not going to happen this time because we loaded the bit stream, and so the bit stream overwrites that section of the board. Well, it doesn't overwrite it, but it becomes the primary thing that's being used. So once you actually find a bit stream that you really like, you can actually flash it with an MCS, an MCS file, and that will make it so that whenever you boot up the computer, you don't actually have to go through all of this. It will just load up, and it'll be permanently in there because you flashed it to the flash. You can only do that 1,000 times though until the flash is no longer good anymore. So just make sure that you use it sparingly. So we have our bit stream loaded up. I'm just going to load up the cores. Okay, good. So it looks like, there we go. It's kind of surprising, but it's only, you know, it's only a few deltas there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into download, new stuff, and then we'll go into our CC miner. Okay. And then from here, we have a couple of files. So all of these files, these. All of these files are used in CC Miner to be able to to load all the things CC Miner needs. This is, of course, your script. So we'll go into that for a second, and then that's actually the application. When you first download this on your application, you may not actually be able to run this. And I'll show you what happens. So this allow executing file as a program. A lot of times it'll be disabled, so it'll actually look like that. So let's just do one core for now. And I'll show you what happens here. Okay, so we're going, oh, I guess we should. Well, let's run this real quick so you can see. And you're doing a sudo, so it's asking for the password. And it says, hey, permission denied. And you're like, what the heck? This thing should be working. Well, the reason is because this is not enabled. So you just check that right there. Okay. And now it should work. So let's take a look at what we got in here. It's pretty simple. We have what the bus is on the board, and it needs to connect there. So we need to discover what your file is or where your PCI connection is first. So hold on for just a second. Okay. Okay. Sorry for the wait there, guys. Okay. So in here, we're going to find out what this is in just a second, and then This is, of course, what the miner is, algorithms to cache stratum, and then this is just my hash for my deposit for the pool. Feel free to put it in there if you want. And then this says what coin I want to be deposited in, and then the denomination. So you would just edit your file. You can use any pool that you want, and you can use anything here, and then just change the script and run that script. So first off, let's just show it running. Okay, so it shows that it's connected. And like I was telling you guys before, that 16.8 gigahashes per second, I wish that was actually what it was doing, but in reality that core is doing 250 megahashes per second for just that one core. And so you'll notice that the temperature is starting to increase. Okay, and so you see that it is indeed increasing, and it is hashing. So we can actually go over here to my wallet, and we can take a look at it. Okay, and so we'll go to, oops, I have no clue what that just went to. Sorry about that. That is not a plug for those guys. Okay. So we go into the wallet, and just so that you guys can see, I'll open the hash here, and so I'm this hash right here, the .6. So that's that guy right there, and you can indeed see I have some that are coming through. And it should show, yeah, see, I'm at 88 hash per second, mega hashes per second. So not super exciting, but it is only one core, and we're not overclocking it. We're not doing anything to it. It is just straight up what it is. So where's the Vivado? Okay, so we're at 50C. So we can kill this now, and then we'll go over here, go to cores, and let's do 5. You can do anything, right? You can do 5, you can do 2, you can do up to 10. Okay. And so you'll see we actually increased it to 1200 now, and you'll see, look at the temperatures just going like crazy. But we're mining quite a bit more. And it does, let's see where it stabilizes here. We'll kind of do this. I've been doing this test, but I've been trying to see how fast it can go versus stepping it up like I've been telling you. So we'll go through the whole procedure that you should go through just to make sure that your card's going to be in good shape. while this is happening, oops. So our card should be able to go up to probably go maximum up to like 85, maybe 90, but I wouldn't go much over that. I would try to keep it in that 70 to 75 and under range if you can, just to keep good health of the card. Looks like we're starting to stabilize, so there is no box fan on right now. You should be able to mine at this rate for a while. It'll actually, after about 10 hours, it'll come up, and then it'll stabilize at around 70 degrees. Maybe a little less than that, maybe like 65, 66 at 5 cores. 6 cores will do a little bit more, but as we boost this up, we're going to need to go to higher cores. So while we're kind of looking at this, you saw we have this devices. So every one of your FPGAs is going to be here. So I only have one FPGA installed in the machine right now, and that is the resource of the PCI resource at location 2. So it could be at 1, could be at 3, it could be wherever. It depends on how many. Honestly, it means how many do you have installed on your machine. So to find that information out, oops. You gotta click the right button. Okay, and so we're gonna go ls PCI, and then you do your type, and then you're gonna do grep and Xilinx. And there you go. So it says, so what this is list the PCI devices that have the name Xilinx in it. You could also do 8028 if you wanted to, and then it pulls up this device. So all you have to do is whatever it says here, you just plug it in right there. And that's part of the pre-configuration that I should have told you from the beginning. So that's all pretty straightforward. If you don't get anything here, it means that your PCI slot is not seeing, or Ubuntu isn't seeing what is in the PCI slot. So it should. It really should. It's really good at recognizing it. So it's probably just installed improperly, honestly. So just pop it out, pop it back in, and see if that fixes it. Okay, so let's kill this. Not that. Kill this. And then we're going to increase the cores to our big daddy. Okay, and I will actually have to turn on the fan for this because it's going to get super hot. I'll show you for a second just so you can kind of see it go nuts. So now we are pulling out 25 megahashes per second, or I'm sorry, 2.5 gigahashes per second, and our card is steadily increasing in heat. So I'm going to kick on our box fan here. There we go, guys. So if we go back to our pool, we can refresh what we got. Show the hash rate going up. We got some immature coins here. We got 1.4, which was when we were mining at 5 cores. Looks like it has a. Look it up. Now you notice this reject rate. That's something kind of interesting is 5 cores seems to be not on, it's super great for heat, but it's just slow enough in the mining pool to accept things that are too big for itself, and it can't actually process it quick enough to be able to get it out there. So once we actually get up to a higher hash rate, my reject rate is 0, which is pretty incredible. It's like a minute to get there though. So yeah, stabilizing just a little under 72, which is great. You know, I like to be under 75, 80. 80 is kind of my threshold. A lot of people go all the way up to 90. I think that it's cutting it a little close, but you know, I prefer to have my stuff run a little bit cooler. So now it's showing, and as the reject rate is going down, this is going down, and we're getting nothing but yeses. Here, you can see. And you actually can see the difficulty, so you know that we're physically running this right now as of 8:12:18 at 11:29 p.m. And so you can see, you know, how this is working out. So I'm just really excited. It's been a long time coming, and I'm so excited to get this out to you guys. You've been patient, just so incredibly awesome. The support has just been overwhelming, and everybody has been very, very cool. And it was kind of funny. I had one person that said, "Hey, you know, that's not as easy as you think it is," and he's right. I really underestimated how long it was going to take. You know, I did this back in college, like 15 years ago. And we did very simple things like create a 4-bit adder, create a shift register, or you know, do some verification of communication data between one device and another device by sending it from one place to another, and having to install wait sequences essentially to sync the data. Well, actually, better than that. But this is everything. Oh man, we had to work so much. So I really have to say thank you so much to my developers who helped me build this out, to our partners over at TUL and actually on Discord to be able to help this all happen. So we really, really appreciate the community. Everybody is just awesome, and we really hope that you guys enjoy this and that you find something super valuable out of this, and I hope that you guys make some money. That would be great, right? So there you go. So 2.3 with a reject rate of nothing and about a 15% share rate. You know, since we get in here, share rate is around 22-23%. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. We're gonna, you know, you can contact me by email, and I'm pretty darn responsive. I want to hear what you guys are interested in doing for your FPGAs. What FPGAs do you have right now? Do you want us to build some other than the 1500 or the KU115? Or the BCU 1525. Those are all you know, great boards, but maybe you have some other boards that are out there that you want to try out. So just hit us up, ask us what you like, what kind of algorithms that you're looking to shoot for. You know, I'll be honest, I kind of had my head down for the past eight months helping to get this thing going, and the mining world has changed. And so when we originally went down, we were trying for ETH and ETC, and it was just a difficult nut to crack. So we went to this route with a Kashek and a Kashek C, and we got something working, which is great, but this is just the beginning for us. We're going to continue to build out new faster bit streams that are going to be great. So, but we want to hear from you. Tell us what you want, and hopefully we can provide for you. Anyways, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great one, guys, and I hope that this video was one step closer for your freedom. Have a great day. Bye-bye.